But McRae and Libber for the Dogs are ranked 3rd and 5th as far as midfielders are concerned. So they've got a plenty of talent and a big spread of midfield talent.
And the good news is Bontempelli and Cripps standing alongside each other for the opening bounce. Petrevski-Seton hunted down. There is the Bontempelli-Cripps battle. They both went for it. Lloyd on hands and knees. Over him, Marchbank. Furious start. Petrevski-Seton got his head free, couldn't get the ball free. Got it free to Marchbank, to Dow. Spears it, lace out. Nice delivery. No Charlie Curnow, as we said, so McGovern's going to have to be one of the marking targets. And Mackay, we said he's been marking everything. That's a ripper to start with.
And he kicked everything in the pre-match, Dwayne. I know it doesn't count for much, but gee, he didn't miss any shots that I saw him. We saw him have a look, but that is the antithesis of what we saw last week, Jason. That's exactly what they needed to do against the Gold Coast.
You couldn't ask for a better passage of play to kick off your game.
So to finish it all off, needs to nail this. And he doesn't, to the near side. And that's, as we talked about earlier, his big downfall.
Yeah, that's the Achilles heel. But, I mean, to win the ball out of the centre and then to hit McGovern on the lead-up, he goes back, hits Mackay on the lead-up. Great signs to the Blues, but when they get these opportunities, they've got to put scoreboard pressure on the Dogs.
Daniel turns it over, and Curnow could have marked that. Ed realises it now.
Well, that's the negative tagger in him coming out. For years he's lived on that sort of stuff, just prevent his man getting the ball. But as a inside 50 defender, he should have just swallowed that.
Oh, let's hope if he gets it on the goal line, Jared, he doesn't rush it through.
Good point.
From the scramble. Kick around the body. Pretty good from Walsh. Got it into a reasonable spot for Mackay to have a fly.
We've seen that so many times this year. For whatever reason, it's Caleb Daniel, one out, against a tall forward, having to fly for the ball in the air, and he does an amazing job. But he cannot be expected to stand under a high bomb like that with no one else coming over the top to give him a chop out.
This is interesting because pre-match he was kicking around the corner from this very position.
And that is a delightful drop putt. And doesn't he and his Blues fans love it?
It's a tougher kick than the first one. I mean, the first one had plenty of angle. I like the way he was positive about this. Often when you've missed one, you can have some problems. You can see the defensive sweeper. That's Caleb Daniel. All of a sudden, he knows he's got to stand under this. He's got to try and fly against Mackay, who's coming with the fly to the ball. And, I mean, it's just a giant against a very small player, isn't it? You've got no hope. Absolutely no hope. But a great finish.
Well, they hadn't orchestrated the changeover. Clearly, they don't want Daniels on him, but after the kick out, they had time to switch and get a better structure than that. There's his man there. He should have been able to jump on board.
So back in the middle, English and Cruiser. Cruiser back in. First game of this season. Knee still strapped after the pre-season off, but he thumps it to Cripps, who gets and goes. Feeds it out wide. Walsh turns back inside. He's got options aplenty. Spear from Petrevski-Seton, lace out, dart.
Signs are good, Jason.
Yep.
Gibbons gets a huge opportunity here. This might be just beyond his range. Brought in as a mature age recruit, a top-up player late. Hasn't kicked the goal yet for the Blues. 5 behind so far. His first season in the AFL. And he pulls that kick. Mackay's up from 3 deep. Bontempelli elects not to take possession. Wood. Dixon, Young, first game for him as well, keeps it low. Dunkley, McLean, Dixon, pops it to the wing, good movement. This is Will Hayes, first game he gets a touch here.
Good story, isn't it? Let's hope he does well.
Footscray VFL player, so they had their eye on him for a couple of years. Good pick-off mark though. Fisher flicks it out, Murphy pulls the kick late. McGovern's in a good spot here. Probably should have held it. Hayes knocks it on. Young's there as well. Again, a little bit more mature than most first gamers. He's got at least a season in the VFL to his name.
No, probably about it, Dwayne. McGovern got a good kick. He had a run and a jump, a free attack on the footy. Got 2 hands to it. Should have held it.
Yeah, rookie draft pick is Lockie Young. Played at Frankston last year. And we'll get another ball up.
Well, Tim English has had a pretty good start by way of getting his hands on the ball. Started at the first centre bounce. He was good in defence in the goal square, the last attack forward for Carlton.
Dow crunched in that tackle. Really good crowd in here as well for this Easter Sunday battle. Obviously the fans of both Melbourne-based clubs have turned up. English caught, right arm, took it out of the ruck, but it's allowed these days. He didn't get a kick away. Cordy flicks it out. Fisher cuts it off, goes back. Murphy wobbles it to a good spot. Crozier drop back in the hole. Little 1-2, Wooden Dixon. Young kept it in front. Did pretty well there. Daniel back inside to Dixon, who takes off through defence.
Oh, good switch.
And Norton is out the back and Liberatore at the back. So Hayes gives it to Johannesson. Well played by that young kid at his level.
Well, we just saw exactly the selection criteria that's been implemented by Luke Beveridge. He's picked a pretty mobile side. He's had some players miss out. Jerome Suckling have both missed out. And they have just gone with some running power. And that is good transition of the footy. Love the cross from one side of the ground to the other to a running offside player.
Libba having a look at how long he had left to get his heart rate down before he had to have the shot. Post.
Bit stiff for Libba, but geez, having a fantastic season. It's just really great to have him back in footy.
Love the decision making of Tory Dixon. It wasn't pre-planned. He had numbers where he was on one side of the ground, took the opportunity to step into the corridor, and then the other side opened up.
Simpson to Newman, Wiedering around the boundary. Murphy back to Simpson, nicely worked. Created some time for himself nicely. Cripps over the top. Gibbons. Now McGovern's going to have to go here. Floats into it, drops it. Mackay. Ed Curnow. Murphy, nice dance step. Got around Gowers. Opens it up towards Cruiser. Just knocked over his head. But Treski-Seaton from a standstart. That's a monster goal. Claiming his confidence as well.
It'll be reviewed. Claiming touched here. So, as we've seen right across the weekend, it may well be touched, but we've got to be able to see it being touched.
No one's setting up for the kick out, Jared. I reckon that's a pretty clear indication that they don't think it's going to be overturned. And like every good defender, you put your hand up and say, I touched it. Not many of them do, though. And not one player out there is actually set up for a reversal of this decision.
Well, as you can see, Hunter thinks he's touched it, but not getting a lot of joy at the moment.
We're just waiting. Just going to take a closer look.
Just holding up play to see if they can get this call 100% right. We have had a couple of occasions this weekend where they haven't waited.
Should have asked for more time. Maybe now all of a sudden the players are starting to go back.
Well, that was worth waiting for that, isn't it, surely, to find that out.
To see no player set up for it, Wayne, is extraordinary, because more often than not, they will start getting out there ready to set up for a kick out if they think it's been touched.
So are we all happy to take an extra bit of time to get that right?
If the decision's right, yes.
Yeah.
And all clear for a behind.
Caleb Daniel now being told we're ready to go. A few of the Carlton fans a little stunned. And now Caleb goes. Drives it a bit longer than most expected. Dixon was kind of there, but Dow was the only guy who read it.
Well, it's a bit of a weakness at the moment, getting the ball from the centre, from the goal square for the Dogs. This is better.
Wallace. Hayes has done well. He's had a couple of touches. McRae's involved. McLean's involved. Bontempelli's in the middle. Kick missed him. He might still be able to pounce. Flicked out by Casbolt. His team under immense pressure, O'Brien. And now Gibbons again. Mackay his target in the one-on-one. Again, great hands. He's beating Cordy at the moment.
He looks good in the air, doesn't he? A really good set of hands.
And hands it off nicely to O'Brien on the run, and he hits a target. It's beautifully big cruiser.
So what we're seeing is great transition going forward for the Blues. They're looking for the lead up. They're looking for the corridor, and the foot skills have been good. All they've got to do is make sure they turn it into goals on the scoreboard.
Jason, isn't it makes the world a difference when you know you can kick it to a forward one-on-one with so much confidence. Right now, Mackay is dominating this game in the air.
But good aggressive leads at the player with the ball.
One VFL game back last week after that knee injury operation. It's across the face. 15 touches and a goal last week in the VFL.
This is what saps your confidence, though, as a bottom team.
And it's been the story of the Blues year today.
You're playing as well as you can at the moment, and you're 8 points in front.
They have had early shots at goal in just about every game they've played, and they haven't been able to take advantage.
Daniel runs his full measure. English is up. Hands on it. Nice crumb, though, by Dunkley. Gave it to Smith, and they're out the back. Dixon in a one-on-one. Plowman and Marchbank are both there to make it a 2-on-1. Plowman, Thomas, Marchbank, Murphy tried the dance step Smith, but the kid was good, and he is good, Bailey Smith.
Better kick out that time from the Bulldogs. Just hit it to the ruckman, predictable spot, kicked it to the ruckman, had some bypass players running up to the feet, and they just outweighted them with numbers.
English front spot. Cruiser gets there, down to Cripps. Gibbons has had a little bit of it early. Bonampelli kept it alive to Wallace. Kick half smothered in the congestion. Flicked back out by Cripps. Knocked on to Gibbons, who pounces, runs, wants a target. Pushing the back, it'll be Casbolt's ball.
It was at the time of kicking, so it doesn't go downfield. If it was late, it would have been downfield, but because it was in the act of kicking, it's back where it happened.
Gibbons back. Simpson holds every Bulldogs player on the ground ahead of him, and he spears that to the lead of Levi Casbolt.
You can't kick that any better.
Yeah, that was absolutely superb. It's a really worrying side here for the Western Bulldogs, getting beaten in the air inside their defensive 50. And the ground ball get numbers at the present time, those contested balls on the deck, the Western Bulldogs are 6 and the Blues are 12.
Well, he has had a crazy goal-kicking history over time. What's he got in his leg today? That is a blast. That's out of here.
Well, that is absolutely outstanding play to have that goal kick. And it all comes from a brilliant kick on the defensive side of centre. You'll see up there is where Kade Simpson has the ball, and it's Casbolt that's going to lead into a pocket of space there, and the delivery is absolutely sensational. You can't ask for a better kick out in front. He sees the space, other players lead away, he goes straight past Easton Wood, and then the kick is delivered perfectly. But then you've got to finish it off with a great kick. He does that. Great start for the Blues.
Yeah, well, the handover was there, but gee, the urgency to defence was really poor. And there's some worrying signs right now for the Western Bulldogs. They're getting belted in contested ball, they're getting belted in the ground ball, and the Blues are dominating in the air and on the ground.
Named as emergency, Charlie Curnow didn't come up. Levi Casbolt in, and he's got an early goal. Gowers tries to get away from a couple, does nicely. He spears it inside 50. Looking for Norton, just out of his reach. Jones, Norton kept it alive, surprised a few. Simpson goes to ground. Hayes through his legs. Still to be won. Simpson wrapped up, dragged out, ball in. Joins Sauce, fourth on the all-time games played list today. Kade Simpson, what a career he's had, 312 now alongside his name.
And I reckon right now he's taking it 1 week at a time, but he'd be eyeing at least another couple of years to enjoy the Blues' resurgence up the ladder.
Well, the way they're going, Petrevski-Seton got it to Walsh and Gibbons. Fists come, thumped out of play. Yeah, he's got a couple of good ones ahead of him still. Bradley, Dool and Nichols, but he's up there in that company, Kade Simpson, and rightly so. On that game's played list. Turns 35 next month. Just keeps on keeping on. Casbolt down, but Liberatore got it. Gowers inside. Richards looks up. Smith does well. Hayes is handled behind. Good attack from both players there. Rolling the tackle out least was Simpson. Johannesson. McRae. That is outstanding to McLean. He had a needle opening to kick it through, and he had a man there.
He's had a great year to date, McRae. It's only 4 games old, or 4 and a bit games old, but he is absolutely flying. And that was just magnificent ground ball craft.
McLean wipes his hands on his shorts just to settle things down. Get the Dogs' first goal of the afternoon. Struts his way inside 50. Struck it pretty well. Magnificent. Dogs are on the board.
So not always a given having vision from broken play, but to be able to pick up the ball and off one step spot where the free player was forward. I mean, this is brilliant stuff.
Well, given that he had laid the tackle that stopped the Blues, that was one of the best individual performances that we've seen on the day so far. Game's only young, but it'll be pretty tough to beat that.
Good to see the youngsters doing well. Will Hayes has had 5 touches. That's the most of any Bulldog. And young Michael Gibbons has had 6 for the Blues. That's the equal highest of any of the Carlton players.
Yeah, that's the reason they've rewarded Will Hayes after 5 seasons in the VFL. He gets it. He gets the ball and he gets the game. And sometimes footballers know how to play footy. Athletes kind of sometimes don't. Casbolt trying to get it away. Cripps steals it back. Petrevski-Seton spears it to Cruiser. Got hands to it, slapped away, and Johannesson is off to the races. Has a run and a bounce, and another one. Looks up, thinks about another. He had Smith over the top. Made it tough for him. Do the kid's good. 18 years of age, and that poise goes inside to Cordy. Got it cut off, back to Smith. He hits back outside and hits a target. Johannesson. Kept it low. Williams to English. To Gowers, got up early, tunneled a little. Ball to the back, and Hayes can go. He's got Bontempelli in a one-on-one. He pulls the kick to Wallace, he drops it. It was there for him. The Bond still got it. Dixon's got it, and they've got a goal.
Self-inflicted wounds in many respects. They had the ball out of the middle, went straight down to Cruiser, and they turned that ball over. And then it was a battle of the youngsters, and Bailey Smith won it on the day.
Just persistence, wasn't it?
It was excellent work. He got it back again, and this is just great work in the finish. Despite the fumble, everybody makes a mistake, but it's how you recover from the mistake.
They nearly got a let off, but Lockie Plowman wasn't able to keep his feet. He made the contact, the ball came to ground. He couldn't recover because he actually lost his balance, and that enabled Bontempelli to pick it up and find Dixon.
So the Blues get the first 2 goals, the Dogs get the last 2. This is shaping as some sort of game right now. Cruiser, Fisher, Petrevski-Seton found some space, and that's the beauty of this 6-6-6. Murphy long towards the Casbolt and Mackay area. Paulson's a chance. A little fumble. Murphy from 49, central kick. Sure who wanted that. Cripps down-stepped around a couple. She struck it okay, but it drifts and has stayed in the field of play. No, on the full. Caleb Daniel getting told where he's allowed to be. Yeah, they looked at each other and thought, your ball, but sometimes you just got to go. Cruiser. Nice hands. Plowman. O'Brien. Sits it up. Casbolt's there, got an early jump. Hunter hunts it. Up against the boundary, puts it back in the English direction. He was manhandled by Newman.
He knew he was in a lot of trouble height-wise. Nick Newman tried to make early contact.
Put it in Lloyd's direction. It was there for him. Simpson Dangerous kick, but fortune could favour the brave here off hands. Still a chance for Dow. Dunkley got there first. Caught. Got up. Daniel to Johannesson, who's playing well. He's got Dunkley, who can go. He's got Hayes out wide. And he goes longer to Gowers. Lace out. Good collect at his bootlaces.
Interesting role. Gowers, we saw him in the centre bounce. Now he's more regular spot up forward.
Wallace slaps it down. Hayes again, right spot. Back to Wallace. Goal squared. Lloyd's got a couple to beat. Plowman. Last on the defence. Keeps it alive, as you kind of have to do under that amount of pressure these days. Simpson wide, and that's an overcooked leap that he'd like to have back Wettering. Oohs and ahs from the Carlton fans. They know how big this is. Yet to have a win in 2019. The Blues, the pressure's on them. Groundhog Day's got to end sooner or later. Cruiser. Petrevski-Seaton. Cripps. Through traffic to Simpson. Back to Petrevski-Seaton. Back to Cripps. Chips it. Caleb Daniel got there. Knocked it away from O'Brien. English. Flick handball over his head. Bontempelli had to go and reach for it. And then the fend off. And then the left. And goal kicking's been his problem this year as well.
Just at that last stoppage, I think Luke Beveridge would be a bit concerned with McRae's work on Cripps. He let him get the first, and then he basically didn't get going, and he got the second.
It's 1 goal 8 for the season now for Marcus Bontempelli. Walsh. Cruiser stalking it, and Richards did the holding according to the umpire. So Mackay's ball.
It's one of those where there's a bit going on both ways, but they think the little man against the big man's the one infringing.
Silvani through his hands back into the lineup.
3 or 4 times that's happened to the Blues. They've been on the lead. They've received very good kicks. Just got to hang on to them. So they both had a handful of jumper. Man in front gets the benefit of the doubt.
Cruiser palms it down to his own feet. Yeah, Silvani back in. First game of the year for Jack. Father, the list manager in the grandstand as well, watching son and team. Hoping both do well. Johannesson kept, well, I thought he kept it in. It's out. Blues had 5 NAB Rising Stars out of the 23 named in 2017. Most thought 2019 could be their year. Parlay that into a few wins. Still a chance. Still a lot of season left in this. They've got to get there first soon. Cripps wide. Dow on the back pedal. Silvani stalks it. There's your evener upper. Ed Richards' ball.
Now, coming into this game, the Bulldogs were the best clearance side in the competition, but right now they are getting towed up in that area. It's 11-2.
Richards told to go. Spears that to McRae. That was delightful. It looked lucky, but it was fantastic. Hayes. Richards. Lloyd. Bontempelli. Beautiful collect.
Clean.
Equally good hands. Easton Wood. Sends it to the square. He's got English down there, half wrapped up. Gowers, it beat them all through for a behind.
He did well Wettering there. Gowers had him exactly where he would have wanted him. It was a good kick in. Pretty clean work by there by the Bont that set that up.
And we're all tied up at the 24-minute mark of the quarter. Walsh. O'Brien. Big crowd in, and yet there's silence here. They're all just enjoying this spectacle at the moment. Wondering what is going to evolve in the next 3 quarters and 4.5 minutes. So much hinges on it for both teams. Walsh. And both coaches. Pumps it down the line. Early lead. That's a great grab, Young. 20 years of age, first game of AFL footy, looks confident. English under it a little. And nice grab by Wiedering. Always had English out of position. Dixon's just off the bench. Silvani grabs the mark. Be cautious, Newman. Now can Thomas go here and find a target? Heads out wide. Could have gone a little more forward than that. Petrescu-Seton, and now Marchbank's held up. Back to Thomas. See if he goes forward this time. Fake for Wiedering. Gave to Wiedering. He fumbled it. Put himself under some pressure then. Silvani and Easton Wood up. Hayes did well. Made it a 2-on-1. Handball inside, a little dangerous. Dow! Outside of the boot. Makes him pay full price.
Well, how ironic. Last week, Paddy Dow was criticised for handballing inboard, which cost the Blues a goal. And this time, the shoe's on the other foot because there's the inboard handball.
Just a little bit of inexperience from Will Hayes, Jared. Enthusiasm, getting plenty of the ball early, but sometimes you just have to play the percentage, and that's to turn back to the boundary, make it look like you're trying to keep it in, and maybe even run over the boundary line while kicking it up the line.
The challenge for him now is just get on with it. Everyone's made a mistake. It's your first game. You've had a darn good start. Had plenty of the football. Done some fantastic work. That one didn't work. Get on with it, as Paddy Dow has done after last week's blunder. Started really well.
Easier said than done, though, isn't it? Just get on with it.
Well, it's easier
Put
said
it out of
than
your
done,
mind.
but you've got to do it.
Umpire's got to do the same with that bounce.
He's playing a quarter. Petrescu-Seton, 12 possessions, 3 clearances amongst them. Using the ball well, 5 contested possessions. Been brilliant in the centre of the ground.
Cripps, here he is again on cue.
It's 5-1 centre clearances.
Gibbons. Scoots past. No tackle. Then Curnow jumps in. Silvani's there. Kept his feet initially. Played for the 3. Could have got it. Crowd wanted him to. Throws it to Murphy. Ducks out of 1. Slams it on the boot. And kicks an absolute ripper.
It's nothing they don't deserve, the Blues. They've been very good this quarter, 12 to 8, the inside 50s, creating opportunities. And then in the last minute and a half, they've capitalised on a couple of them. Maybe a free kick there to Cordy, and then maybe a free kick to Silvani coming back the other way. Let them both go, good to see. And Mark Murphy, out of nothing, just throws it on the left boot. Tried to duck under that one, so the umpire called play on again. Good decision. Great goal.
It's now becoming damaging. They've kicked a couple of goals from clearances, but this is an amazing turnaround. But the Dogs' number one wood is their clearance work, their stoppage work, and at the present time they are getting a lesson. It's 12-2. It's 5-1 from the centre bounce, and that one was directly from Petrescu-Seton's work at the centre bounce.
500 game total for father and son. Of course, it's not a father-son for Carlton as such. Could have played for the Lions as a father-son, but elected not to.
How do you get rid of that?
English scoops it out. Petrescu-Seton caught by McRae.
Now their pressure inside is superb at the present time. That looked as if it was going to be an exit. I mean, they're masters at the exit, the Dogs, and yet they're getting a lesson.
Just watching Petrescu-Seton, do you think he's just realised if I get around Cripps enough, I'll get it?
Bonapelli tried to get it and go. It was a clever move. He knew that Cripps was about to grab him, and he accidentally, deliberately fumbled it. And he takes off, spears it over the head of a couple, through to McLean. Hits the deck. Dunkley scooped it out. Lloyd, they get one back.
Well, it was a great kick around the corner to get the goal, but gee, Dunkley, full credit to him. He won the ball on the deck and shoveled it out, which set up the shot. There he is. He's enjoying a pretty good year himself. Playing deepest, just follows the ball. He gets in, gets it, flicks it out, and sets up an easy shot.
You know, Sam Lloyd's got good goal sense. We saw it at Richmond. He gets himself in the right positions, front and square to that pack. A little bit of space, an easy snap.
29 years of age now, Sam Lloyd. And enjoying his role at his new club. Back in the middle, English and Caruza. Good reach from English. Got it down to Bonampelli, who is off. And blasts it long. Out the back, Dunkley, it didn't get to him.
Good mark.
Most thought it was going to get to him, but it didn't in the end. And Marchbank takes the mark.
Makes a difference when you win those centre clearances and all clearances. That looked dangerous.
Out wide to Mackay. And Young got the fist on it, knocked it down towards Hayes. Couldn't trap it.
Well, that's a pretty good first quarter of your career. 9 disposals. Been excellent.
Cripps keeps it low to Silvani. Easton would jump. Ball got to the back. Crozier is waiting for the handball so he can get and go. Blindly kicks it. Cripps used his body well. English went to ground. McLean gave it to Cruiser though. Caught. A little roll. Caleb Daniel, Gibbons. Gowers caught. Flicks it out wide. McRae in some space. McLean into that space nicely. Heads to attacking 50. Again, Marchbank with a big fist got it away. Wallace worried them out of it. Goes inside towards Lloyd. Had it but lost it. Curnow had it but lost it. Plowman picks it up. They could be away here. 40 seconds left. Walsh, he looks up. He's got Silvani. He's got Mackay to one-on-one. Pulls the kick short. Could have gone longer. Gets it back. Still has Mackay. Still has Mackay. Now has Mackay. Slapped away, but too late by Daniel.
How many times do we see Caleb Daniel as the defensive sweeper? Everyone pushes up, gets involved in play. He's the one.
Opens it up. 20 seconds left. No one on the goal line. And slots it. Fooled them all.
Well, they're the ones that I was watching him snaffle early in the warm-up. Caleb Daniel actually ran about 80 metres to get back there, Jason. He really did push hard, but in the end...
He's the one that always does it. He's responsible for that sweeping role, but too often he gets exposed one-on-one against a big forward, so some of the other Bulldog defenders aren't working hard enough.
And I think fortunately for those Bulldogs who didn't man the line, that was maybe just above their reach anyway, but
they'll still get a call.
They should have been on the line. Gee. Particularly after the experience we saw on the Gold Coast last week.
12 seconds left. Still time enough for something crazy from the clearance here.
It's a great response by the Blues. They're playing a pretty good side, the Dogs. They've had 2 wins, could have won a couple more. This is a good response.
Holding the ball in the end because the umpire said Petreski-Seaton ducked his head. Jeff Dalglish inside 50 on the siren. No chance of a mark being played. Crowd getting their money's worth here at Marvel Stadium. Easter Sunday clash.
Down and we drove straight into the stationary opponent. Don't dispose, so it's going to be holding the ball. That's the prior op. Sorry.
There's your explanation. But he's had a ripper quarter, Petreski-Seaton, as have the Blues, searching for their first victory of 2019. They won the first quarter by 2 goals, 5-3. Really matter if Ruckman gets the first touch or not. It's your midfielders, and that's what's evolving before our eyes again here. Cruiser and English, but it's about Bonampelli and Petreski-Seaton, Cripps right now, and Dow, who gets this one but is dragged down.
Yeah, I think if you had a preference, you'd rather have the winning ruck, but you'd also love to have the ruckman who gets his own clearances, and therefore you've got 4 at ground level battling it out.
Caleb Daniel boots it off the deck past Liberatore. Still a chance, Liber. Went low. Petreski-Seaton is hunting it at the moment. Got it to Cripps. Flicked it to Simpson. In the congestion. Dragged down. Williams. Brilliant tackle.
Been waiting for this, Jason, for Petreski-Seaton to have a breakout game, a best on ground game, and right now he is vying with 3 or 4 others as the most influential player on the deck. It's a great start. Let's see if he can do it for 3 more quarters.
Dow in the McGovern direction, can't mark it. In the scramble, Paulson flicks it out. Still alive. Good gather with one arm. Walsh. Petreski-Seaton another touch. And a good one at that. Cripps inside. Marchbank, the spear, turns it over. Well read in the end by Hunter.
Let himself down there, Caleb Marchbank. I mean, he ran well, he read it well. But, you know, not much pressure and the delivery poor.
Wood back to Hunter. He gets some space and to Shepherd. It was fairly heavy. English turns inside, gave to Liver, runs to 50, likes his chances, misses.
She's a good move though, wasn't it? Intercept off half back, and as the coach just told us, he's happy with the transition. When they go, they are really flying. Their ball speed of movement is superb.
Ed Kerno did well, slapped that out. There's Johannesson.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Tim. In about here, lads.
Cruiser, one of 4 changes for the Blues with Charlie Curnow not coming up. He's done well so far. English gets in front of him. Dow, Cripps, Petreski-Seaton. He's everywhere. To go back and get his own ball here.
Smart.
Williams, Marchbank, Cripps. Still got Petreski-Seaton for the flick on. Couldn't get it to him.
There's an area where English is going to get better. He got involved in that, knocked it along, and that was superb. But then he sat on his haunches for the next 25 seconds and could have got up and got the extra at the contest.
Here he is again. Petreski-Seaton lured them, gave to Gibbons in some space. He heads long. McGovern holds this one on 50. Casbolt leads back at him. It's a mongrel. Mackay had no chance. Casbolt had no chance, and Mackay asking for deliberate.
It was a lazy kick, but
Why would you kick it there? You're kicking it to a left footer and you're going to mark it on the boundary line.
Cameron Mooney mentioned Petreski-Seaton hanging around Cripps a little bit earlier. Cripps has had 18, Petreski-Seaton's had 16. They are dominating, and the chemistry between them looks outstanding.
Touch ball scrambled away, so had to play on. Cripps, Marchbank, time to steady, hits the top of the square, and English
He shanked it.
read it well, if you like.
It came off the shin.
I thought he'd stubbed the ground when he kicked it, but that's a couple of opportunities lost, and they're the ones they need to capitalise on. He had all the time in the world.
Just the required 15 to Hunter.
It's very much a game of momentum. You've got to score when you've got it.
Yeah.
Richards overcooks that. Dow can go. Hands off to Thomas. He spears it, hoping for Curnow, but he turns it over to the worst guy possible to turn it over to, Johannesson, who ran and realised there was nothing forward for him.
Smart play from Jason, though. He really could have just let the energy get hold of him, but there was nothing there, as you said, Dwayne.
Well, Crozier does see Gowers. He's got a good reach. And he holds this, and this is within his range if he can crank up on it.
Not sure why Plowman left Gowers there. He had 2 men to mind, and he came up to the shortest option, which left Gowers alone inside 50. I think you've got to make them use the shorter option and give yourself a little bit of time and time for your teammates to get back and help out.
Probably need a settler here, the Dogs.
Kept it low. Norton got up, couldn't bring it down, and well, Jones was jumped on. No in the back, no over the shoulder, no holding the ball. It's a ball up.
I will say this, the umpires have been consistent. They've let a lot go. They're only looking for really obvious ones. They haven't been over technical. I think they've done a good job.
Against his old club, Liam Jones, 64 games for the Dogs. English, the flick down, Murphy. Just out of Petreski-Seaton's reach. Bontempelli, you can't give him a sniff, although he misses here. Pulls it too far.
So can they lock it in and press? Get a repeat entry and get another crack? Because they are facing the Blues, who haven't played better footy than this year.
Mackay got up there and made Thomas's kick look perfect.
How good are the hands?
He is growing before our eyes.
He doesn't double grab anything, Jared.
No, he's good. He's very good.
He's been on the list a few years now, so given a chance to grow. He's having an outstanding year. A little hold, Cruise's ball. Murphy.
They have always looked to come back inside, endeavoured to use the corridor where possible, the Blues.
They've got Simpson on the other side. He'll end up being the other chain to get it going.
So Plowman, Jones, Simpson, and now Thomas is short. He's got Petrovski-Seton inside. Might as well give it to him. He's got leather poisoning. Out wide, Fisher. He's got Cripps short. Had to honour the lead.
Well, we just saw Daisy Thomas charge to the wing. He didn't get the ball, but what he did do was drag a player with him, which opened up the space for Petrovski-Seton.
Mackay's in the spot. He rises nearly. Ed Curnow, ball towards the boundary line, and we'll get a ball in.
Wasn't a bad kick from Cripps. All he did was put it 5 or 10 metres in front of Mackay and said, you run and have a jump at it. And at very worst case scenario, you're going to get a break-even contest.
They have packed Marvel Stadium for this one. Easter Sunday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying it as much as the live crowd here are. Cripps scoops it out to Murphy. Dances inside. Outside of the boot. Mackay. He's worried them out of it. And he's going to have a shot from the top of the square.
Another clearance win, Jason.
Yeah, and that's all about forward craft. You play in front. That quick kick always drops short. And then all of a sudden the pressure's on the defender who needs to infringe to stop Mackay running forward and taking a chest mark. Cripps is feeling a little bit. He's at his own footy.
Pick 10 in 2015, and isn't that looking like a really good pick right now?
They say they take a little longer to develop, the big guys, the key position players, the ruckman, etc. You can see Cordy getting having a discussion with the umpire, perhaps getting some clarification over why the free kick was paid. But let's hope this is the year that Mackay just completely breaks out and becomes a consistent key position performer. Nothing untoward about that. It wasn't late. It looks it in slow motion, but it wasn't. Just the two hands around the hips that retarded him. Otherwise, Mackay would have been able to run out and take the chest mark.
Well, Cripps at the centre at all clearances has been the dominant player with 7. Next best is the Bont with 4, and Petrovski-Seton, he's got 3. So between them, Seton and Cripps, they've got double figures, 10.
Petrovski-Seton not in there for this one. Dunkley, Bonampelli. Well, Dunkley was the designated ruckman, didn't even go up, and Cruiser makes that look crazy. Push, it'll come back to Dow.
Yeah, these clearances are becoming a serious issue, aren't they?
Well, that's not going to work, surely, not having anyone go up.
16 to 8.
Yeah, just come around the angle.
Getting beaten at their own game.
And they've only had 7 hit-outs to advantage, so at ground level they're dominating.
Silvani kind of got in Mackay's way. He went and got her anyway. Daniel caught half a handball. Just got away with it. Hayes was clever. He went to the boundary line this time and disguised it well enough.
Well, they've got some work to do here, Jason. They're going to start finding some ball and start finding their way into their own forward line.
He's threatening to grab everything, Harry Mackay. 10 possessions, 3 goals now, doing the ruck work up forward.
Might as well grab out of the air here. He's got the reach. He knocked it down to Johannesson, who tried to thread the eye of the needle with the kick. Crozier heads out wide, Wiedering almost. Dixon did well, got it to Wallace, got it to Smith. Nothing long for him. He can put it over the top for McLean to run onto it. Race on. Newman, McLean, bouncing ball. Little nuts to back. Big nuts to the back, and got away with it. Plowman tucked up against the boundary, almost took that out deliberately. Marchbank, Plowman, Thomas. How did Newman get away with that? Liberatore.
Well, the umpire was side on. I'm not sure how he could miss that.
Williams about to shrug that tackle. Runs to 49, heads goalward. And it's a behind.
It's a right hand in the middle of the back to push him underneath it. I said they've been good letting a lot go, but that's probably cost the Bulldogs a goal.
Probably.
Mackay and Liberatore this time, and he still gets it even though he couldn't mark it to Cripps. And they are out here. Dow is over the top. If he can hit the kick, it's a tough kick. Cripps had to go inside. Plowman blasts it. Dow's going to have to go. Kept it in front. Did pretty well. Dunkley right with him. Johannesson couldn't get it and run. Blues are hunting it big time right now. Fisher. Casbolt wants to crank up. Goes short. Pulls it to Silvani.
It's a clever kick in the end. Not something we normally recognise about Levi Casbolt. Is a little bit of touch with the kick. He didn't have any options blasting it long. There was nothing but Bulldogs options wherever he could look.
Speaking of clever kicks, it was the Harry Mackay kick on the boundary line that set it up. It was round the corner. It was very it was a magnificent exhibition.
Dogs have lost their past 2 games coming into this. Silvani couldn't put them well and truly on the ropes there. Won their first 2 games, the Dogs, against Sydney and Hawthorn. Lost the last couple against the Gold Coast and Collingwood. Still hard to know what we're going to get from the Dogs, not only this game but this season.
Biggest concern is Carlton's got the big tall side, and yet they're getting belted, the Bulldogs, still at ground ball.
If you're looking for a positive, though, I think the Blues have completely outplayed them. They're only 16 points in front. So if you're a Bulldog supporter, you're sitting there thinking, if we can get a few things right, if we can get our hands on the ball around a few of the stoppages, we're a chance of getting back into the game pretty quickly.
In this term alone, it's 6-13.
5th season for Luke Beveridge, and he's got a job to do here. Bontempelli tried to thread the handball through. McRae did well. Petreski-Seaton did brilliantly. 1-2, Paulson gave it to Cripps instead. Bontempelli wrapped him up. Stolen back, ball. They can play onto advantage here, the Dogs. Johannesson's got space.
All the way.
Had a bounce, looks up, goes toward Lloyd. Can he get back? He waited. Wallace was there as well. Simpson knocked it down. Wallace caught by Newman. No in the back. No around the shoulder. Ball out of play.
The experience of Kade Simpson down back. Outstanding spoil back towards where help was coming for him.
Halfway through the second term, this has been edge of the seat stuff from the outset. Hunter tried to break free. Petreski-Seaton's had it on a string.
You said Luke Beveridge has got some work to do, and I mean the coach ultimately takes responsibility, but he needs his players to get to work at what they're renowned for, and that is just hunting the footy. Because they're getting a lesson right now.
The thing he's going to have to do is pay a little bit of attention to Paddy Cripps at some stage here. He's had 23 touches. He's never had more of the ball in a half a footy.
Wow. That's a reasonable stat, that.
And it's only a quarter and a half deep.
McRae to the pocket, to the reach of English. It's the big kick, this. All the momentum right now is with the Blues.
Clever kick from McRae. That's just picking a mismatch. It was Mark Murphy against Tim English.
Well, McRae's one that, McRae's one that really needs to get to work, because he's had just 2 possessions and 8 for the match, and I mean he's a 30-plusser.
Jared, I was just going to say quickly, Bolts has just come running down to the boundary line, just talking to the players individually, one-on-one at the moment.
Blues have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals of this game. English to the near side, never gave that a chance.
I reckon he's very keen just to keep momentum going, Brendan Bolton. He needs to keep this passion, this energy up with the players, because they haven't put the game away yet by any stretch.
Newman long to Cruiser. Crozier got up. McGovern, nice crumb. Fed it backwards, though. Little flick handball from Plowman. Didn't find its target. Hayes hunts it. Bontempelli calls. You give it. He goes to Dunkley, who gets in the way of his own man, Norton.
Well, that was stepping. It was one of the great kicks of the day. The 2 blokes having a crack.
Hayes again. Threw that down accidentally, deliberately to Daniel. Short pass, good. Johannesson. He pokes it inside 50, but over Hunter's head. Wiedering about to pounce on it. Half smothered by English. Hits the deck. Wiedering tried to tow it away. Richards has got it. Back inside 50 with a spear to Dunkley. And he held it.
2 turnovers in quick succession. They looked like they had gotten rid of the danger, the Blues, but Levi Casbolt couldn't mark on the defensive side of the wing. It was a good kick. He was too worried about what was coming instead of just attacking the footy. And after a couple of turnovers, they Each team gave the opposition an opportunity. It's finally the Bulldogs that capitalise.
Well, it's been a good 3 or 4 minutes for the Dogs. Just need this one to convert.
They kicked 3-7. Haven't led all day, and that's sprayed across the face, and no one on the line. And Casbolt almost lets that go through in the end for a behind. So 3-8. If they kicked 8-3, they'd be in front. Simpson. Petrovsky, Seaton. And after all the ball he's had, they don't shut him down. Dangerous kick though, horrible kick. McRae. Newman. Stolen back by Gowers. Floated it out to Wallace. Petrovsky, Seaton trying to put out the fire. He started. Free kick, Dogs' way. And it's going to Liberatore. And he lets them know he deserved it.
Well, they've had a couple of shots, have been robbed of one by the umpire, but they've been their own worst enemy with their inaccuracy.
Gee, there wasn't a lot in that.
That's a square up. If you believe in that sort of thing.
Approaching time on second term, and that could be a momentum changer, and Libba lets him know.
Well, he's just trying to get something going. Tom Liberatore trying to fire up his teammates because there was very, very little in the contact. It's not the sort of thing you need to go over and do that. He just threw himself to the ground. I mean, Newman pulled up as quickly as he could when he saw that there was no possession there. But he's a passionate player, Tom Liberatore.
He's kicked the dart here. This is the beauty.
Hard on his sleeve. He's trying to fire his teammates up.
Well, good on him, because somebody has to. It was getting to the dangerous levels. And if they want to maintain touch with the top 8, this is a game they've got to win.
Lot to love about Libba, and a lot to love about the Dogs when he's up and firing. Momentum change a little in the last 5 minutes of this one.
Well, he's half responsible for Paddy Cripps. He needs to take greater responsibility. He'll be happy having a goal next to his name.
Dogs with the last 3 scoring shots, the last one a goal. English, can they get the clearance? Fisher goes back to go forward. Cripps, another possession. Just waited until he found someone. Looked around, saw Simpson there. Out wide to Thomas. Working his backside off. Really had to motor to get there. Danced inside. Handball knocked on nicely by Gibbons. Fisher blasted. Paulson in the pocket. About to feed back on it. Daniel got there first. To Young, the first gamer. Easterwood was almost outside the boundary line when he collected it. Ball still alive here. Gibbons picks it up, kicks it around the body. It's bending, and he's finally got his first as a Blue.
And so he should celebrate. He's having his best day. He's been pushed more up into the midfield where he built his reputation in the VFL. He's been asked to play that sort of small forward role when the ball's not coming down much and you're playing losing sides. It's pretty hard to have an impact, but he's now having he's had plenty of touches, and this time it just fell for him really nicely. Good little shovel out there from Jack Silvani.
How well did they do to keep the ball alive, the Blues? I mean, the Bulldogs would be dirty that they couldn't find a way to get that over the boundary line for a stoppage.
23-year-old living the dream right now. Slaving away at lower levels.
And they're good midfield numbers. 9 disposals. He's kicked the ball inside forward 50 a couple of times, telling you that he's been pushed up the ground a fair bit more.
And immediately erases the one the Dogs got moments earlier. English bangs it back inside 50. McLean wrapped up and driven. Wiedering thumps it back to the wing. Dow and Richards. Richardson Dow. Richards did well. Felt for body contact. Whitten got to Sharon. Tight rope the boundary and found Hayes. Had plenty of it in his first game. He's looked up to the standard. McLean. Heads long. Bontempelli in the middle of the 2. Lloyd. Roller. And to the near side.
to let off for Paddy Dow up on the wing. You've got to know your opponent better. Ed Richards pushed him under the footy, then he went back and he allowed him to turn back onto his left foot. He was always going to.
Blues fans have maintained the faith despite a winless start to the season. Dogs fans here in their home game still full of hope. Ball out of play. Great start to the season for the Dogs. A win over Sydney, win over Hawthorn when they kicked the last 8 goals of that game, 9-goal last quarter. McRae pulls the kick. Petreski-Seton waited for a second. Jones kept it in front. Smith pounces. Simpson read his mind. McLean tried to part the seas and get between them. Oh, great one-handed claw grab by Petreski-Seton. Ed Curnow back to Petreski-Seton, who finds a target again. McGovern. Murphy.
Just starting to control the ball here, the Blues, and well they might, because from a numbers perspective, the Dogs are well on top in this term. The scoreboard doesn't tell you that, but 1-6 to 2-1 is a better indicator. They've won the inside 50 count. They've neutralised the clearances and the contested ball. It's just that they haven't been able to score, Jason.
Jones
Sucking a little bit of momentum out of it here.
Thomas, Murphy, well worked, some possession footy, confidence boosting footy. Newman making the Dogs chase with 4:43 left in the quarter. Pumps it this time. Mackay under it. Crozier. Gowers. Over the head of Caleb Daniel. Smith mops that mess up nicely. Clean hands to Richards, to Eastonwood, and they're out here. Young's out wide. Well, McRae knew what he was going to do once he got it, but didn't get it. Paulson hunted down by Young. Sticks the tackle. Splendid tackle. Richards. Back to McRae.
And he should thank his teammate for dragging the Blues down there, because it wasn't the sort of error an experienced player like him makes.
If you've just joined us, Carlton led by 12 at quarter time. They're led by 13 now. Down the line, Wiedering from behind. Knew where he wanted to get it, but that'll do. Simpson back towards Mackay. Got there late on Hunter. Legal spoil. Silvani, a roller, a tumbler. Awesome.
It's a good finish, and again, it hasn't felt like a 13-point game. They needed to kick that goal, the Blues. They probably need another one, because they've had the best of this first half. They just haven't completely capitalised, and then they've been let off by a few misses by the Western Bulldogs. So Lockie Hunter didn't quite keep his eye on the footy, was expecting a bit of contact, and has created an opportunity. And Jack Silvani, who's really struggled to hold down a spot in this team and show some sort of consistency, missed a set shot from 50 earlier in the quarter. Has to take these sort of opportunities if he's going to justify his position. That's a good finish.
Sit down for his trouble. Brendan Bolton alongside him from the restart. Big 3.5 minutes coming up here, and Fisher gets the takeaway. Thumps it. Casbolt had a chance. Little slap down against Young. Crozier read it well. Not a lot to go to that he likes. Liberatore, that'll do.
I'm not sure he was aiming for him though, Dwayne. It's a good miss.
Libber looks up. And Lover, a late one, but certainly don't want to concede another one. The Dogs. Smith gets it from Crozier. This, for the record, the biggest margin of the game, 19 points. Liam Jones, good grab, read it to perfection. O'Brien, he's got Petreski-Seton, and he was taken as a pick 6 in 2016, Petreski-Seton. I think we now realise why.
Well, this is possession number 25, Dwayne.
Had some rough edges when he was picked up. Sam Petreski-Seton, the Halls Creek Cowboy, as they called him back then.
He's always been great with the ball in his hand, though. He just looks a magnificent kick. He just had to get it a bit more, and he's doing that today.
Casbolt sees a sail over his head. Caleb Daniel, the boundary was his friend there. 2:14 left, and just used a bit of the Carlton towel to wipe the brow with some help. Libber, the bot, slams it on the boot over the head of Wallace. Bouncing ball, the chaos ball could work for them here. Wallace pursues it, tries to rake it free.
If you wonder where the Bulldogs are going to ask for a lift at half-time, Luke Beveridge is going to get to his midfield. You've got McRae 11 possessions, you've got Liberatore with 9, Bontempelli just 11, and Hunter with 7.
Cruiser rolls it towards Mackay, and he shrugs. Easton Wood has a bounce. He's got a panic ahead, another bounce. He's got Casbolt ahead, another bounce. He's got 30 metres ahead, another bounce. The goal's beckoned. Could have been a goal of the year contender.
What a shame he couldn't finish off that passage of play.
Jason.
Could have been the greatest Carlton big man goal since Harry Madden started running down the middle at Waverley.
I'll tell you what we do have to give credit to is Zane Cordy didn't come at him. He was desperate to chip the ball over to Casbolt, who was running back towards goal.
Probably still could have done it.
Cordy just stayed in between, leaving a little bit of doubt, forcing him to have the shot.
There's 1:34 left on the clock, Jared. I'm not sure Harry Madden would have got there for the shot in time. He's a little slower than this Harry.
That said, disappointing the miss, but so exciting for the future.
Yeah. Would have opened up some real breathing space had he capitalised on it. 3 goals, 2 from his 12 possessions, Harry Mackay. 5 marks amongst them as well, 3 of them contested.
So the kick in. Johannesson heads wide. English the target. Knuckles it down to Wallace. Danced inside a couple, went to Dunkley. Found a gap where there wasn't one. Hence Londa was Lloyd. Good hands. Held it long enough. Not a lot to go to. Took the steps. The umpire said you got to go. Richards jumps inside. Hits a pretty good spot with that kick to the bond. Thumped away. Still alive for them. Easton Wood to get one back. Well, he chased down Mackay at the other end. He had a chance to get one back on him. 59 seconds left. That could have been huge for confidence and momentum for the Dogs.
Whenever it gets late in the quarter, you'll see Mitch McGovern goes behind play for the Blues. He's the one that leaves his forward post and then just hangs that extra tall defender.
Cruiser, English, Young nearly pulled that mark in. English, Cruiser, no free to either. Cripps wrapped up. Ball comes free. Williams a chance. Fisher through traffic. Cripps goes back down. Outside of the boot. Crozier stands under it. Casbolt overcooked his leap. So 30 seconds left. Cordy goes inside. Johannesson, does he know how long left? Short pass is okay. Back to Johannesson. Dan steps around Thomas. Wobbles 1.5 forward. Chase that down. Lloyd got there. Gave it towards Dixon. Seconds keep ticking. Wallace tried to scoop it out. Couldn't quite get it out. Murphy had it. Smith's got it. They need to kick inside 50 in a hurry. Dunkley needs to get it on the boot. Inside to Cordy. Needs to get it on his boot. Too late. Probably. Mark won't count to Dixon. Half time. Marvel Stadium, and the home fans for this Dogs home game a little stunned right now. 19 points the margin at half time, and the big question is, can the Blues do it again in the second half? Will the nightmare be over? Can they break the drought for 2019? Only team in the competition without a win, the Blues, and Luke Beveridge ponders what he needs to do in the second half to pull this one from the fire. Lost to the Gold Coast by 5 points here a couple of weeks ago, and Collingwood
They continue on in the second half.
19 points the margin as it stands now. They've led from the outset, the Blues. They're winless. There's an anticlimax. Winless so far in 2019. Luke Beveridge, Brendan Bolton getting some sustenance. Big second half now underway. Gibbons got his arms free. Tried to scoop it out. Wallace dragged down. Dow had him. Cruiser done well on his first game back. English beats him but knocks it down to Cripps. Got it away just in time to Curnow, who can't bend it enough, Ed.
Gee, he had Petrevski-Seton storming by as well. Would have run into an open goal. They wouldn't want to waste too many opportunities, the Blues, because the Dogs started to get the game back on track in the second term. Didn't hit the scoreboard. They kicked 1-7, but the numbers are reflecting they're back in the game.
Interesting, they've started Jack
English.
McRae.
Nice grab by English.
Forward.
He's hurt himself, but he's okay. So who they started, sorry, Gerard?
Jack McRae is a deep forward. He's about to move on to it now.
McRae looks inside. Caleb Daniel at Johannesson. Knew he's been stalked. Somehow found space where there was none. Out wide to Bontempelli. Has to go and get it. Petrevski-Seton coming off a 25 possession opening half. Just gets the kick away. Liberatore and Wallace. Hunter. Johannesson. Got the numbers inside. Crozier danced inside. Ignored Caleb Daniel. He blasts it from 60. Gowers. And this could be massive for momentum. Blues have kicked the last 2 goals of this game. Opens up the angle, bends it around, and he doesn't like it off the boot. It's lucky to have scored.
It's a case of who's going to take their opportunities, Jared, at the moment.
Well, the Bulldogs have really been their own worst enemy since quarter time. In quarter time, they were just badly beaten, but since then, they've been the authors of their own demise with their goal kicking.
Cripps, great hands, and landed like a cat, gave the handball up. Curnow back out. Walsh, second possession in this string, a roll towards Silvani. Caught by Young, shrugs Young. Goes back to Gibbons. Tight ropes the boundary, rolls it to Silvani. Young's got in this time and he's gone. Throw.
Just didn't think their way through it, the Blues. Oh.
Fisher. McGovern. And this will hurt.
That's what can happen when you kick off one step. Unfortunately.
First game for Lockie Young. And
he's
as
been
Gerard
good.
said earlier, it's one of those ones where you've got to tell yourself to forget it, but by telling yourself over and over to forget it, you're remembering it. All eyes on McGovern. He's had a leanish afternoon at the office so far, but this is a monster kick for 3 in a row to the Blues for the biggest margin of the game, and he nails it, equal to the moment. And he gives us a little Austin Powers celebration.
Well, the one thing he is good at, well, he's good at a number of things, but he is an excellent shot at goal from the standing position. And you can see where he's aiming, and you can see where it finished. And then there's the gift. Wow.
At some stage, you've got to punish the opposition when they give you opportunities like that. So Carlton are at a stage where if they can kick a few in a row, they can really open this up and really almost put the game away. But they've got to remember if they slacken off for a few minutes, a couple of quick goals to the Bullies, and they are right back in it.
25 points and growing the margin. English and Cruiser to go at it again. Flick down to Petrevski-Seton again. Tried to get through. The left door's closed on him this time.
Well, he didn't get away with it that time, but he's been outstanding. He continually gets his hand on the ball. Done a great job. A lot of the time spent on Bontempelli.
The Bont short to English. Blues getting numbers back in the holes. Puts it up for the Leapers. Gowers from 5 deep, got it!
That was a great one.
5 deep at the bar and got served.
Just saw him take a mark a moment ago near the point post. Couldn't screw it around on the left foot. He does this a lot better. Set shot routine's pretty good. He's a good athlete, good strong runner, a good leap and a good set of hands.
There's a great pickup by the recruiting staff at the Bulldogs, giving him a second crack at it.
But it's all about the finish. From 45, it's coming back, but not enough.
You wonder if they're going to actually play well enough to get themselves back in the game, the Bulldogs. They've actually had more inside 50s now than the Blues.
4 goals, 12.
That's the great frustration. They've turned it around in most of the fundamentals, and they just cannot put a goal on the board.
McRae, face planted. Petreski-Seaton found it again. Dow got it from Gibbons. Gave it up to Walsh. Back to Cruiser. Again they run hard. Back to Gibbons. Looks outside. Petreski-Seaton another touch. Pulls it to Silvani. Gave it to Fisher. Tucked into the pocket. Heads to the square. Casbolt. What about that for the best movement of the year for the Blues from defence to attack?
Well, the exciting part about it was it looked like they were going to run themselves into trouble, but every time there was a player in support. There were options, there were numbers running forward, and there was plenty of voice to alert the player to shoot the hand pass out. And then they just played on, hand pass, hand pass, hand pass. The ball went to Silvani, another hand pass, and then the kick into Casbolt.
And they've got their foot on the Bulldogs' throat right now.
Yeah, that's just a fantastic passage of play. Half a dozen players involved, and then a long kick into the goal square and a good mark. But there's the running and support running you talked about. All the youngsters involved. Cruiser gets involved. Back to another guy just was playing VFL only 8 weeks ago. Got himself an opportunity. Silvani gets involved. Fisher, everybody wanted to join in the party, including the big Kaz Bolt.
Clever kick from Fisher. I mean, he didn't spray it. He didn't try to kick the miracle goal. He knew Casbolt had good position if he just gave him a jump over the top of Eastern Wood. And perfect little chip kick.
So it's a big deficit now. 5 goals when you've only kicked 4 for the day.
Only got a chance late. Charlie Curnow out, but he's made the most of it so far. Cruiser in the ruck. McRae caught, dropped it. Cripps got it, gave it out to Fisher. Dance step was delightful. Gave it over to Cruiser. He sends it to McGovern. Early leap from Young. Got it to ground. Flicked it out wide. Hayes. Caleb Daniel. Looked inside. Looked outside. Looked to McRae. To Bontempelli. And he needs to help generate some momentum. Shrugs the tackle. Blasts it long. Hoping for Gowers. Got up late. Spotted to ground. Back to Gowers. Good reach in from Simpson. He kind of kept his feet. Hunter stole it back again. Spears the pass. And this is huge for Norton. He has hardly seen it all afternoon.
Well, therein lies the importance of Hunter, but it's been really interesting tactics what they're doing with Hunter. They're just interchanging Murphy and O'Brien on and off him, double teaming him, and they're just running with him. And he therefore hasn't been able to get as many touches. In fact, he's been well and truly starved in comparison.
And he only got that because of the fumble by Mark Murphy.
So one handball. This is his first kick at the 9-minute mark of the third, and he sprays it, and that's lucky to score.
And Liam Jones in his face. Just don't get why players need to be doing this so much. Just get yourself in position. Liam Jones should be thinking about the next possession. Can he be used coming out of defence?
And as bad as the 4 goals 12 looks, it doesn't include the out on the fulls. Casbolt. Good hands on Cordy.
It's a bit of a pot, kettle, black scenario with Liam Jones there too, isn't it?
Silvani. Newman. Fisher. Flicks it back to Plowman. Norton kind of came at him and just corralled him and put no pressure on the kick in the end. Wiedering wide to Marchbank. They're enjoying this. Inside to Walsh. To Murphy.
And you got Thomas wide, really working hard, some of these Blues defenders.
Well, Newman had Thomas, ignored that. He goes longer to Silvani.
Well, we keep talking about it, Dwayne. If you've got two options and the long one's free, go long. Move it quicker, move it longer. Get to the players inside 50 and give them the opportunity to have shots for goal.
And often the long one's only an option because the short one has done the gut running.
Correct. And then he draws a player up because he's worried about him being used.
For Blues, the whole season hinges on this, you feel. Careers hinge on it. English knocks it down from the scramble. Cordy had a chance. Caleb Daniel bounces it to Crozier in the back pocket. He blasts it. Thomas wants to rise here. He didn't even have to go up.
Good work off the ball from Marchbank just to keep Wallace out of the contest.
Every Bulldogs player ahead of Daisy. Pulls the kick late. Casbolt, not the second grab, no arm chop free. Cruiser through traffic. Silvani out wide to Petrevski-Seton. He was outside the boundary line. That would have been a great goal.
See, that's an opportunity lost, Levi Casbolt. Just like a bar of soap through the hands. It's a beautiful kick coming in. He's a
That's
metre
optimism.
over.
That is dead set optimistic.
Well, he's done everything else today. Back into play. Cruiser knocks it down. Crozier makes it somebody else's problem. Plowman.
Well, that's just great defensive work in the forward half. That's two now that have been intercepted.
Cruiser stalking it. Cripps front of the pack. Ball knocked down to McRae, to Wallace, to Bonampelli. He looked back before going forward there. Caleb Daniel to Smith. Who's it going to be for the Dogs? To get them some momentum back, some confidence back, to do the game-changing thing. Young inside, nice kick, down the spine, Easton Wood to Williams, out wide to Richards. He's got Lloyd short, honours the lead. He's got open space ahead.
Yep, and one-on-ones everywhere ahead.
Dixon inside, just beyond his range. Beckoning for someone to lead. Bonampelli is the man he wants. Off fingertips though. Wiedering. Caught. That could be ball. Didn't appear to hit his shoe with the kick attempt. Wiedering got a second chance. Gave it to Marchbank. That one's touched. And it's not out on the full. It's a ball in.
Well, they won't kick the ball long to Norton. Let's have a look, Jason.
It's a good tackle. Should have been rewarded.
Thank you.
No Carlton ruckman. Yeah, it is. Cripps has put his hand up to nominate.
Against English. Eased him out of it. Got possession, gave it away. Smith. Cripps. Tried to fend off. Flick down to Smith. Handball straight to Marchbank. He flicks it wider to Petrevski-Seton. Through Silvani's hands. It was a tough one. Easton Wood gang tackled. Dragged to the line.
Brendan Bolton with 10 minutes of play remaining. He's back down onto the boundary line. Did this in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Well, this is huge for him. Fourth season as coach for Brendan Bolton. 15 wins, 55 losses he's seen. Murphy to half forward. Getting down Casbolt, but he dropped it. Tried to fool the umpire into blowing the whistle. Hunter. It's a couple has dropped in a row now. Casbolt. Young out wide. Dixon forced to really motor to get it. Can't.
Is it concentration, technique, or a combination of both, Jason? Casbolt dropping those.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's confidence, but he's kicked a couple of goals. It could have been a really big game had he's probably dropped 3 that would be regulation marks, you'd think.
Liberatore nearly pounced on it. Fisher flicks it over the top. Walsh. Silvani. Back to Walsh. Back to Silvani. Casbolt's long. Mackay, if he pulled the kick, he's still got options. Ball slapped away in the end from McGovern.
Well, they're back on top in the clearances, the Blues. 6-2. It's a big number. It's a big differential.
Kicked the last 4 goals of this game, Carlton. Ball flicked down. Dogs almost a breaking strain right now. Blues can get one here. It would be huge.
Dragged it in.
Just got it out in time. Liberatore. Gibbons over him. Flicks it out. Fisher tries to weave some magic. Gave it to Murphy. Outside of the boot. Bends it back. Oh! It was nearly magical. And that leap from McGovern. Nearly as good. Didn't even go out. So play on. Richards is out here. Could this be the game changer? Just when we thought the Blues were going to get a ripper. Short pass to Norton. He collects it. Landed like a cat. Takes off to Dunkley. Dixon's inside 50. Gave it to Smith. Smith sees Dixon. Goes longer. Goes for Lloyd.
That is a brilliant kick from what is he, 5 games in. That is an amazingly good kick. He runs hard. He wins ball. And he knows how to use it.
It was a fancy fly at the other end from Mitch McGovern, but it hasn't helped the Blues. There they are, a chance to score.
Opens it up, and maybe the game could change on that.
So he doesn't touch the footy. He doesn't keep the ball in the attacking 50. He allows it to rebound. I mean, it looked exciting. It could have been mark of the century. The fact is he went way too early and it opened him up for the quick rebound.
Good running here from Lloyd. He just, you could see him from the top of the screen, left-hand side, and he just kept going. And going. And that is just A-grade service. That is an amazingly good kick.
Perfect kick, isn't it?
Well, the Dogs would know they had a 9-goal last quarter to come from behind and beat Hawthorn. They're still in this game. Bouncing ball, Wallace through traffic. Little toe poke, fortuitous to Bontempelli. Squeezed the kick wide, looking for Gowers. Kept it in front. Dixon. The drop step, turns inside. Thomas can get there. Brilliant stuff from Daisy. Body on the line. Knew the contact was coming.
It wasn't the greatest use of the football there. It was an opportunity. The pressure came to bear and the decision wasn't up to it.
Mackay has held everything today. Had a good spell on the bench in this quarter as well. Pumps it down the line. Johannesson just out of his reach. Casbolt, the collect was good, but the handle was horrible. Petreski-Seton drops it. Johannesson runs through traffic. Tough one to gather from McRae. Pushed in the back.
Got lucky because there was a bad handle and then a bad fumble.
A little bit of luck running their way right now. Inside with a double grabber to Wallace. Hands it off to Leber. Runs to 50. Heads toward goal. Dunkley over the back. Couldn't pull in the one-hander. Newman. Back pocket. Nothing to go to. Floats it. Dogs have the numbers. Young. McGovern gets it out. That was a win.
It was brilliant body work by the Bont. Just didn't quite capitalise on it. But they're coming now, the Dogs. 6 minutes to drag this lead back to something manageable.
Kicked the last 8 goals in that comeback win against the Hawks a few weeks ago. Bontempelli inside with a handball that missed his target. Petreski-Seton, first fumble of the day for him. Murphy. McGovern. Found time. Floats the kick. Richards got there. Made a contest. Knocked it away from Newman. Knocked it to Dixon. Ball in dispute here on the wing. This is a huge ball to win. The Dogs can win it. They'll go forward. McLean thought he was caught high.
He was.
Umpire didn't think so.
Gee, they made a hash of that, the Blues. That should have been going inside 50 for Carlton.
Yeah, they had the extra numbers there, the Blues. And, well, Richards did really well to just lock it down.
Liberatore, brilliant collect. Gave to Caleb Daniel. Shoots it back to Crozier. And now to the open side, they fan. Hayes is long if Johannesson can find him. He's out, Hayes. He can get and go. Can the first gamer hit a target? Goes inside to Dixon. Got it!
Brilliant switch of the footy, Jason. From half back on our side.
Crozier.
to the other side of the ground. Picked up, well done by Crozier. And Hayes continues his good afternoon.
Banned from riding track work for his dad, Will Hayes, by Footscray when he was told that you might have an AFL career on offer if you have a couple of good VFL seasons. Always been too tall to be a jockey, too small to be a footballer. He's having one great first game. And Dixon to parlay that into another comeback goal for the Dogs. It's getting warm in here.
Well, that was a great mark. They needed somebody to convert some of this good work. And in his first experience in a Group 1, Hayes has started to really deliver. He's come up a notch and he hasn't been wanting at all.
No, 15 possessions. He's run hard. He's been used as often as he possibly can. We know he's a great runner, a great athlete. And he looks to be enjoying himself in game number 1. Just won't go away. I mean, Carlton have had that 3-goal margin basically since quarter time. And it hasn't changed.
Good numbers. Not yet three-quarter time. That was one of his better kicks.
Monumental 5 minutes coming up here, maybe for seasons and careers, and Liberatore is going to get the clearance advantage played. Boninpelli, that is great set of hands from the 18-year-old Smith. 18 points the margin, 3 goals in it. And the Dogs have the momentum, but not the lead. Heads wide. Gower's got up, couldn't bring it down. The ball rolls out.
Well, something you don't see very often down here is both senior coaches are down on the bench at the moment talking to their players. Bolts came down about 5 minutes ago. Beveridge just came down about 30 seconds ago.
Norton to do the ruck work for the Dogs against Cruiser with the reach. Flicks it down, McLean through traffic. Dixon from a stand start. It's not going to bend enough. It's on the full. He's had a few of those to go with their 6 goals, 12.
Started on the wing at the last centre bounce. Jack Silvani went straight down back as a loose defender.
Holding the mark. Sits it up. Young and Easton Wood. Almost out reachable. They were. Like Casbolt, we couldn't bring it down. Sorry, Jared.
Just Petrevski-Seaton. He's just floated forward and looks dangerous.
Couldn't quite get it to him. Johannesson.
It's a shocker. You can see him in two minds. He was looking for options, didn't have any, tried to blast it long. Just need to keep their composure here, the Blues, and try and work it forward. Kick that goal that opens up the margin again before three-quarter time.
Mackay, another grab.
He's marking everything, Dwayne. He doesn't look like dropping one. That's his first second grab, or double grab, but it was against two opponents.
He's about to thump it. Cruiser is forward. Puts it in that direction. Casbolt and Cruiser. Casbolt nearly pulled that down. And we've said nearly a few times for Casbolt. Nice couple of dance steps from Caleb Daniel. Young slams it long and wide to Lloyd Simpson on the full. So Blues ball again with 3:33 left in this quarter. Here's that Casbolt half mark. The deck in the end.
Another opportunity, but great defensive pressure from Petrevski-Seaton.
Walsh goes back to Jones. Goes wide to Plowman. Dixon corralled him initially, put some pressure on it. O'Brien, little fumble. Now the pressure comes, a little overzealous.
So he got lucky.
He got really lucky. Lucky O'Brien. It was a double fumble.
Sometimes you just got to look at the footy till you pick it up. Not worry about what's coming or where you want to spend it. Just get the football cleanly first.
Takes a safe option, goes to Mackay. Not this time. Brilliant crumb by Daniel. Gee, that's a monster kick if it comes off, and it doesn't. And Petrevski-Seaton could put a dagger to their heart here.
You mentioned he's gone forward, Jared, having a bit of a spell there. The defensive pressure he applied a few minutes ago on Caleb Daniel forced a hurried kick out of defence, which went out in the full. Now he stands off an opponent and he's got the speed to intercept. He is having the best game I've ever seen him play by some margin.
He's had quarters, he's had halves, but This is votes.
Margin 3 goals right now with this kick to come. He keeps it low. And he's got it. Squeezed it in. 4 goals the margin in the shadows of three-quarter time.
Well, it's unusual you see Daniels make a blue like that. He usually is superb with his decision-making. Sum up the angles. He might not have seen him, might have been blinded by another player. But he is putting together the best game, as Jason said, that we've seen him play. And I think all Blues supporters have seen him play. Right now, there'll be only a debate as to whether it's Cripps or him for BOG.
61 possessions between the Bulldogs' top 4 midfields in Bontempelli, Liberatore, McRae and Hunter. 62 between Cripps and Petrevski-Seton on their own. Extraordinary.
And they've got 8 goals from their turnovers. It's a testament to the pressure that they've brought to bear today, the Blues. It's gone up a big notch.
2 minutes left to the last change, and Cripps again to Fisher again. Gibbons.
Love the way they have led up whenever they won a clearance. There are players coming up at the man with the footy. They haven't just pumped it long forward.
Murphy. Gibbons. Mackay leads. Ignored initially, now it's on his head, and Casbolt rises.
We talk about kicks to advantage, and what you mean when you're talking about a kick to advantage for a forward is that he has a run and jump, an uninterrupted passage to it. Now, there were players in front of him, and the ball was actually landing on their head, but have a look at Casbolt. He has an unobstructed run and jump at the footy, and he can take those marks when he's in that situation.
From the pocket, across the face, Mackay in the pack, Cruiser in the pack, Hunter under pressure, a roller, Richards sees it slapped away. Well played by Smith, got it to Richards, and they're out here. Just want to look as if the Blues could get a late one. Smith goes long to Gowers. No one there for the overlap, he has to wait. Seconds down to 35, heads inside, looks for the Bont, who calls in McRae.
They just slowed him up enough to get the numbers into the back 50.
Pulls the kick. That's delightful to Crozier. And does he crank up on this? He's got 20 seconds to find a target.
He does have a long penetrating kick, and he seems to fancy his chances. I think the siren will probably go before he kicks it here.
Still got a chance to pull off a pass. He thinks about it long and hard. In he runs. Winds up and spanks it long on the goal line, touched. Didn't have to carry. Crowd on the edge of their seats here at Marvel Stadium. Are they about to see the drought broken? The Blues on the verge of their first win for 2019, but they're not home yet. They lead by 24 points at three-quarter time. Gotta love the
18 touches. He needs about a dozen in this last, and plenty of forward entries to get him across the line.
24 points the margin to start the final term. English gets a free knock at it. Got it to Dunkley, gave it to Daniel, shoots it up to the man of the moment. Who's been the man of the match, Petrevski-Seton. Got it up in the end. Liberatore stole it back. Tackle laid by Dow, looked a little in the backish from here. Bontempelli gets it anyway. He's the man. Looks up. He's got Gowers on the lead. Puts it in front of him. Just over his head in the end as he pulled up on the lead. Ball comes to Newman. Shoots it out to Murphy. Fisher short.
Fell for the bump there. I mean, he was ready. He was ready to deliver. He's a brilliant kick, but there wasn't a great option for him. And the Blues dropped back really well. It was a 3-on-1.
Down the line to Mackay. One grab, two. He has been epic. Until then.
You put the Mozza on him. His marking prowess has been exceptional today. It's just hope there's no problems there. Feel for the back of the right hamstring.
And he spent a bit of time on the bench in the third as well, so maybe there is an issue there. Ball thump towards Cordy. Knocked away from him, back to Mackay. Hands it off to Cripps, to Murphy. Newman, fantastic smother by Hayes. Got it over the boundary line.
Well, he's one player that's going to hold his head high. Will Hayes. It's been an outstanding debut. He's worked his butt off. The old man will be proud.
Absolutely. Bulldogs hat on. Followed his progress. As I mentioned earlier, great footy family. Always loved their footy. Even though most Saturday afternoons they've been at the races. Bontempelli got it to the man we're speaking of, Will Hayes.
That's why he's good. Under pressure, he makes good decisions.
And he was there for McLean to go to. McLean ignored it in the end, floats it wide. Big ball for Lloyd. He's got 3 to beat, and he couldn't beat them all.
This is where they've got to wake up the Dogs midfielders. They're dropping blokes back. Long bomb isn't going to work.
No, that's not the entry that's going to get it done for them. They've got to run, carry, hit the short lead-ups.
Ed Curnow, and every minute off the clock now, a win for the Blues. Down the line, Bontempelli, Wiedering. Dog fans, a couple of weeks ago, saw the Gold Coast beat them by 5 points. And they were a little worried then that the season turned for them. They'd won their first 2 games. Since then they've lost 2. They're in danger of dropping 3 in a row here. Liberatore. Bontempelli pulls the kick and the hold. So Norton gets a chance, but he's been spraying some kicks at goal so far in this game, and he pulls the kick to McLean. 6-12 and a few out of bounds on the falls to go with it.
Yeah, but one good kick here and it puts doubt in the minds of the Carlton players. They haven't won a game this year. The Bulldogs have had that huge comeback in the 4th term to beat Hawthorn. They'll get a little bit of belief if they can get the first goal here.
McLean, a couple of skip steps into 51, got under it a bit. Cruiser on the goal line's got the reach, and ball just slapped through.
And that's probably the kick that should go to the top of the square or a short option. He was clearly out of his range.
Crozier floats in and collects it.
Been good.
And he hits the top of the square. Early lead McLean. And a block is the call against Simpson.
Time, no.
Didn't look great. I understand why the umpires paid it. They just got to kick this one, the Bullies. Absolutely. You can see him here.
Yeah, he wasn't looking yet. He's spot on. Umpire was on the spot. Well read, you guys. $40,000 in here at Marvel Stadium, and he's almost got silence. Everyone on the edge of their seats, and he can't kick it. That is soul destroying.
Yep.
6-14. Plowman. And for the Blues, another minute ticks off the clock to Jones. Cruiser up early. Good crowd. I heard the big cruise from the crowd as well as Walsh. Silvani. Curnow. Now Mackay's under this. Williams in the 2-on-1. Open side. Hayes has to wait for this. Good poise from the kid there. It's out wide, so they've opened it up at least for some run through the wing, but that's a horrible kick. Newman cuts it off. McLean, 2 really bad kicks in a row. One that turns it over, one that was a miss shot at goal from 35. And now Casbolt can make them pay.
Yeah, Petrevsky, Seaton very quick to go over and say, have the shot, take your time. If they can get the first goal, they can almost break the back of the Bulldogs here.
Well, this is almost the one you back Levi Casbolt into kicking, the one you're not expected to kick. In he comes. So could get anything here. And he struts. She's kicked it well. He has crushed that. And they're nearly there, the Blues. Nearly there.
Great call, Dwayne. We've seen a couple of bonds from Levi today. one from outside 50 at the other end, and this one from a tight angle, and that's one of the toughest pockets to kick goals from here at Marvel Stadium. And it was a poor kick coming out of defence. They really haven't used the ball well today, the Bulldogs. They've been their own worst enemy. The kicking efficiency of 65% is well below that that's expected at this level. And that kick from 50 right out on the pocket is exceptional. Can they make that 100 points, Dwayne? 59 matches without getting to 100 points. 18 matches without getting to 80 points. You'd think they'll get there, but can they get to 100?
And that's part of the beauty of it for Brendan Bolton, who's been under immense pressure. 15 wins, 55 losses. He's watched unfold for the Blues. This could be the moment that changes everything. Team-wise, career-wise. Silvani feeds back onto it. First game back in for Silvani. Gibbons, no. He was about to go up as well.
And we've got to see this performance in the context of no Charlie Curnow as well, who at the start of the season was seen as the great white hope for the Blues. Well, he's not playing and they're delivering. So even further cause for optimism from Blues fans despite the slow start to the year.
McLean, Hunter, McRae, tackle late. Simpson put his head down through the traffic, got a little nudge to the back, not paid. Fisher finds it somehow. Gibbons squeezes pocket. Mackay! Well, he's caught everything. He just hasn't kicked the ball. But again, this is kickable by his standards. He loves this kick around the corner. Kicked one at the other end earlier on.
9th mark for Harry Mackay. A little bit tougher around the corner when you're this far from the point post.
Everybody's wild about Harry.
Well, we're seeing breakout games everywhere. Petrevski-Seton has been outstanding, and Harry Mackay has done what everyone's been hoping he would do. Certainly the Blues, after taking him with such an early draft pick. You don't always want to see the ball kick deep into the pocket like that, but when you've got a hot hand, when you've got someone that is marking everything in sight, you've got to keep feeding him the footy.
Absolutely. Blues fans, they'd be absolutely loving this. The world's almost returning to normal, Jason, re-emerging as a team in part on the back of a ruckman named Harry or even a forward named Mackay.
See the little pump of the fist from Brendan Bolton in the Carlton coach's box. He knows how important a kick that was.
They've lost 33 of their past 36 games coming into this. 3 wins in their past 36. And they're 14 minutes away from their first win of 2019. Straight down the spine, Wallace. They've had all the answers, the Blues. Casbolt lending a hand in defence. Daisy Thomas has been solid. Simpson with the experience. Crozier floats in. Oh, he was paid it. He held it long enough.
He was good, Crozier. He was on McGovern, but he saw where the ball was going to get kicked and he took off.
Time is of the essence for them now. He sits that up a little. Hunter! Big grab.
You don't expect that. He's had a very quiet day, Lockie Hunter. A long time since you would see him halfway through the last quarter with only 13 possessions next to his name. But he can turn things around with a goal here just to get them back in the contest and maybe give them a little bit of belief that they can get on a roll.
And he struts, skip step through the paint. And that is the tale of the day for the Dogs.
They have slaughtered the footy, Dwayne.
Just got a text from a mate of mine trying to get a feed in Lygon Street. Everything's closed. They're all in the back having a look.
Simpson about to pump this. In the McGovern direction. Crozier, McGovern, Young floats in. Ball comes to the back and they're out here, the Blues. They're having an enjoyable day at the office. Dow, a bounce, looks up. Options are plenty. He's got Ed out the back. No Charlie. Ed would have done. And he sees it knocked away.
Just not sure why Paddy Dow kicked the footy. They had numbers running. He could have kept bouncing and running. He could have given a hand pass and then shepherded. They could have walked at him.
Hunter, Caleb Daniel, a little fumble, and he takes it out. And that's probably a free kick.
Should be.
He threw that away.
Yep. And the umpire saw it, so that's a let off.
Didn't see it. There's the boundary umpire, field umpire.
Unless it was punched out of his hands, Wayne, and not a throw, perhaps.
I think Daisy might have looked for a stat here.
There you go. There you go.
Back into play. Casbolt, English, Libba, Wallace, Daniel. But they've not been able to find men forward to kick goals for them. Richards wants to play on quickly. Bontempelli's forward now. Richard takes them on. Takes on the old man Simpson. Drives it from 50. But getting back, Marchbank, and couldn't quite collect it. But out of play, a win. 12 minutes away now, the Blues, from this drought-breaking victory. Lost their first 7 last year. Lost 9 of their last 10 games last year. Liberatore had a chance. Ball funneled out through a couple. Ed Curnow kicks it off the deck. Mackay and Daniel. Good attack from both players. Mackay kept his feet. Daniel kept his eye on the ball. Towed away from him. Young and McGovern get there. Knocked a little further on. About to be pounced on by Easton Wood. Paulson rides him. Takes him to the line. Deliberate.
Not much option as a defender, but when you just handball it cleanly like that over the line, you give the umpire the opportunity to ping you. Great pressure from the Blues.
Ed Curnow sets it up. Mackay couldn't get a run at it.
Well, coming into the match, the Blues were ranked at 16 for pressure, and I think that's an area that has gone up dramatically today. It's been the best game I've seen them play without the ball in their hand, and the best I've seen them with it, so it all adds up to a victory, and that's what they're about to achieve.
Mackay takes it out of the air, bounces it towards goal and misses near side.
He deserves a bag of 5. He's been outstanding, clearly the best forward on the ground. Probably one of the best 3 players on the ground, I would think.
They're going to have to work their way through the return of Charlie Curnow to that forward line, because it's worked well today. English feeds it on. Norton pumps it to where he's usually waiting for the long kick. Gowers is down there. Tried to pluck it and go. Plowman took it from him. Got it up just in time. Ball up.
Great desperation from the Carlton defenders, Lockie Plowman in particular.
Flicked down by English. Silvani could have tried to push off on Caleb Daniel, and he wrapped him up like the dog he is. Richards, can he get there? Ball slapped away. Simpson on hands and knees, got it outside 50. Hayes, Smith, Hayes, dragged down by Paulson. Back into the lineup this week, Paulson. Picked a good day to come back in. From the scramble. Been a long wait for Blues fans, but worth every minute of it now. From the palm down, Libba tries to get and go. Hayes, Wallace just mongrels it back. Early leap, Gowers couldn't bring it down. Ball hits the deck. Dixon had it, played for the free, funnels it out. Richards jumped on a little, jumped on a lot, over it, holding the ball. Sounds like 40,000 Blues fans just turned up.
A little bit of claret flowing, might be Marchbank, is it? That went back with the flight of the ball. You saw that huge fly from Billy Gowers. He'll come straight off. There's a blood rule here. Very courageous going back with that high floating ball that went forward. Oh, he gets the elbow on the way down.
And Butcher's out off the turnbuckle.
A bad leap from Gowers.
Yep. Interesting just looking at their structure. They've gone inside forward 50, haven't had a lot of marking targets, missed a lot of goals, but They have got Trengove waiting there in the wings to come in as a backup ruckman or a target up forward. Just seems to be off the radar at the moment.
Back into play. Dogs fans know they've let this one slip, and maybe their season's slipping away. Caleb Daniel trying to slip away himself. Hunter. Johannesson sits it in the air for Daisy to clutch it away. Barks some instructions. Wiedering, protect me. Heads wide to Murphy. He can go if he wants to. Told to go. Got a kick away. Johannesson on the rebound. Gets it back from Lloyd. Pops the pass in hope. Through Norton, who's had a dirty day. Hasn't been the only dog, though, with a dirty day. Fisher. And now the Cruise. To Mackay. And Casbolt will do. Two-pronged sword there on the wing for that high ball. Gibbons. Pulls it for Cruiser.
Good mark.
And handles. Curnow pumps it inside 50, getting back Eastonwood. McGovern about to pounce and goal. Run down. Good chase by Lloyd. Dixon got their front spot. Free kick. Richards.
Adds another dimension to the season, Jason. And the Blues were always going to emerge at some stage, and on the back of this, they'll be dangerous in the next couple of weeks. They are now believing what they can do. Some players have taken their own standards up.
Young. Smith goes inside. Williams missed his target. Plowman got there, shoots it back. Simpson. Little poke pass is good. Walsh. Now Rising Star nominee last round. And had another good day at the office. Spears that ball to Fisher. Got a ton of room. And he goes back. He's just messing with them at the moment. Goes all the way back to Newman. Simpson. Now look at the scoreboard. We're about to tick into time on final term. Down the line to Silvani. Casbolt and Cruz are both there. Ball comes to Cordy. Slapped away by Casbolt. Back towards Young. Wrapped up by Fisher. Cripps. Dragged down by Crozier. Paulson tried to get through the traffic. Dunkley scoops it back. Cordy all the way back to Johannesson. All the way back inside defensive 50 to Hunter. Told to go, took the step. And may have turned it over. Thomas with the fist knocks it down. Murphy, a chance to spend it wisely. Floated it though, Caleb Daniel. And they might be a little spent, the Blues. They have left not a lot of petrol in the tank. Well, that's the way to play it. They came out from the outset full of energy, giving everything they possibly had. And if you have joined us late, they led by 12 points at quarter time, 19 at half time, 24 at three-quarter time. And they currently lead by 37. They've won every quarter of what we might be able to call a contest, but it really hasn't been a contest from the Dogs since half time. Ed Curnow scoops it out. Murphy, Cripps, Newman. With the outside of the boots is Silvani. Didn't quite hold it long enough, the umpire said. Walsh to Fisher. And now Casbolt drops it. Back onto it. Takes on Young. The first gamer wrapped him up. He did brilliantly there, Young.
Well, that's what's holding Levi Casbolt back. Opportunities like that, that's bread and butter. And we wonder why Carlton can't kick 100 points. They haven't for 59 consecutive matches. They're 2 goals away from doing it. That would have been 1. You can't waste those opportunities.
Fisher trying to get that 100. And they're a goal away.
I've liked Zach Fisher's game, Jared.
Yeah, I like him too. They've got a couple of these nice young snappers around goal. They have excellent goal sense. They know where they are, and they are able to deliver. And they've got one at that size, and they've got another one, Mackay. He's a fantastic snapper around the corner. And there's a good dish. He's played well today, Curnow. And a good finish.
The development we've seen with Zach Fisher, we saw him as a little running defender, tried as a small forward, now spending most of his time in the midfield. He's got zip. He can break away from a stoppage, and he's not afraid to go inside. He's only lightly framed. But he can continue to put in performances like this. 26 touches and a goal, and look at that. It was 59 matches ago. Nearly 3 years ago.
And they've got 5 minutes to do it. A warning in the middle for a bad 6-6-6 set. So the warnings are going to continue for the rest of this season, we're told. They're not going to change that. Ball flicked out. Walsh a chance to find a target, and Mackay.
I wonder if the Carlton supporters are aware, Dwayne, how long it is since there's been 100 points.
They're a wise crowd, Jason. Long to the goal square. Wood! That was a good grab.
The point being, will there be a huge roar when the 100-point barrier is shattered if that happens?
Might be a ground invasion.
So downfield here. A few nouns and verbs being thrown around behind the ball. But it's mainly going to be Carlton fans here when the siren sounds. McLean back inside to Hayes. It's been one of the shining lights on a dark afternoon for the Dogs. Smith. Takes on Daisy, caught.
Just slid down. It was a diving tackle, started on the hips and just slid down below the knees.
He sits it up high. Big pack around it. Ball knocked down to Lloyd. Central kick pretty good. Rolled it across the face, and it was looking like a goal and then didn't score.
That was almost a harder kick than kicking the goal.
51-94. Can the Blues do it? 59 games without scoring 100 points. They've got 3 minutes left to do it. Cruiser slaps it down to the front. Old dark navy blue starts to ring around Marvel Stadium.
It's still a monkey on their back, isn't it? The 100-point barrier. They need to break it today.
Listen to that. They haven't sung it for a while. Why wouldn't you sing it? Dow. Squeezed it to Mackay.
Coming, Jason.
Well, can't bomb the ball.
It's coming.
Eastonwood sitting behind play here. They've got to use it carefully.
3 wins in their past 36 games for the Blues. The fans have stuck with them. Those that are here deserve this. A chance to celebrate, and celebrate massively in a couple of minutes from now. But they need one more goal to crack the ton. Down the line they pump it. Gibbons.
Trouble is, there's not many Carlton players forward of the ball. We know how good they are at winding the clock down. Players these days.
Mackay, who was outmarked by his own man. Silvani heads to Dow. Can he get there? He can, but he dropped it. And he wins a free.
Oh, that is lucky. That is lucky, Paddy Dow. That has hit him fair and square on the chest. It was a beautiful kick from Jack Silvani. You have to mark that. But he gets a second opportunity, and Danny Cripps has just gone over and said something to him. I wonder if he said, we need this, we want to get 100 points.
For a 49-point margin, but more importantly, to break a 59-game run without 100 points. And he puts it across the face.
Oh, Dwayne, this is going to be heartbreaking if they don't get there.
Still a chance, Jason, with the last kick of the game, maybe. Bontempelli. McRae. That's the Bulldogs' next 4. Hayes, Smith, Young. Gowers in the pocket. Floats toward him, and McGovern got there late. Front on contact. Free kick.
Not sure what he's complaining about.
You might be right, mate.
That's just placating him.
I like that from the umpire. No need to put fuel on that fire right now. 1 minute left on the clock. Gowers in the meantime squeezed it home for a late consolation prize.
And that'll suit you, Jason, because the ball goes back to the centre and they get an easy out and kick that goal you want.
He's tried hard, Billy Gowers.
It's their first goal for a long time. 20-minute mark of the third quarter.
Just 13 possessions, 1 goal, 2 to Gowers, but he's competed. Hasn't been great ball coming down. Probably should have kicked a couple of the behinds, and he scored. Now 54 seconds on the clock, and the Blues need a goal to break the 100-point barrier.
Well, they put the big guns in there. Cruz is in there. Petreski-Seaton's in there. Cripps is in there. Fisher's in there.
It's nearly 3 years, Dwayne.
From the bounce, English knocks it down. Fisher stalks it. He's got Cripps with a handball. Waste no time. Crozier can cut it off though and spoil the party. Plays on. Puts it under pressure. Fist from Marchbank, but down to Daniel. And the seconds tick down. Almost Cripps. Pulls it back. Maybe with the last kick of the game, it'd be appropriate. Short pass over the head of Casbolt though. Out wide to the boundary, and it rolls out.
It was there, Jason, for
It
you.
was. Paddy Dow just had to hit a target.
I think even the players know. But it'll be a win regardless. It'll break the drought finally. Hunter caught. Murphy. Has he got it in him though?
No,
From
got to
there.
hit a target. Got to hit a target.
Kicks it up for Silvani. Stands under it. One grab. Off the deck. Out of play with 6 seconds left. Time enough for something crazy from the ball in.
A ruck infringement.
I think you're the only Carlton person here that really cares, Jason. You're not a Carlton man.
The nightmare is finally over. Dow goes inside, outside of the boot. There's the ton! There's the ton! And the kid does it on cue with the last kick of the game.
And don't tell me the players don't know. They've come from everywhere.
Brendan Bolton, the nightmare's over. Groundhog Day is over. They've registered the ton, and they've won their first game of 2019. And that's why you play. That's why you come to the footy, because there's days like these. Down to Cam Mooney.
Dwayne, we're just talking about this beautiful side.